Welcome to Season 2 of the Panther Podcast. We're continuing to tell the story of the Panthers, which are the faculty, administration, student body, alumni, and community who make up the Brookhaven School District in Brookhaven, Mississippi. In addition to the new episodes hosted by Superintendent Dr. Rod Henderson, you'll also enjoy behind-the-scenes documentary episodes along with promotional and educational videos that showcase various departments. Everything you see and hear are noteworthy pieces to the huge puzzle making up the Brookhaven School District. Watch, listen, and enjoy as the story continues into the 2024-2025 school year.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Panther Podcast. I'm Dr. Rod Henderson, Superintendent of the Brookhaven School District, and it is my honor and pleasure today to have Ms. Leah Ann Peavey, our Polymer Science teacher for the Brookhaven School District, as my guest. How you doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. The weather's great outside, and I'm so happy. We've been trying to set this taping up for a while. You know, you've been busy back and forth, but now we're finally talking. You doing good?
Doing great.
Good. Look, first I want to talk to you about your path to education. You know, I always try to lead in and let everyone know, you know, who you are, where you're from, all those things, and just give us an idea of your background, and then let's talk about how you got to this point.
Okay. Well, I grew up mostly in Natchez, Mississippi,
Okay.
and I went to Co-Lin, played basketball there.
Okay. Who was your coach?
Coach,
Was it Gwen Young?
yeah, Coach
Oh,
Young.
wow.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, and matter of fact, I was one of his first teams. I think I was like maybe the fourth team he had.
Really?
So, and that was a lot of fun. And then I went on to Southern Miss
Okay.
and graduated with a bachelor's degree in Polymer Science. And then went to work and worked in industry for 11 years, several different job locations, working mostly as an engineer or as a research and development manager.
Wow.
So in Mississippi as well as in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay.
And then my husband, the coach,
That guy.
decided, that guy, that we needed to move to North Louisiana for a coaching opportunity for him. And so we decided to do that. And
Now, was that Monroe?
It was Monroe.
Okay.
It was. And I was ready to make a change too. I just was feeling like I wasn't really having an impact on the world, you know, or on people as an engineer. And so I decided that I was going to try to get into the teaching profession. And the state of Louisiana at that time was offering to pay for your classes to get certified if you wanted to come from industry into teaching. And so I did that. And my first teaching position was at West Monroe High School.
West Monroe, the Rebels.
While I was working on getting my teacher certification.
Right.
So now I've been teaching for 30 years. This is my 30th year.
Wow.
20 in Mississippi. This is my 20th.
Man, I didn't realize you had been teaching for 30 years.
Yes.
You're right there at the door. You're in a great spot.
Yes.
But you're not going anywhere. But anyway,
No, not anytime soon.
you brought up some areas that I'm familiar with. You know, I went to school at Grambling up that way. Yeah. And, I coached at Bastrop, which, you know, West Monroe was in our district at that time. And they were just beating everybody. Every year, winning state championships left and right.
That might have been when we were there, as a matter of fact. Our daughter was a cheerleader at West Monroe.
I was there in 95.
Okay,
So,
we were there
I was
in
there.
92 through, we were probably there about the same time.
Yeah, I spent 1 year in Bastrop, but that was enough for me. Loved it, experience. It was my first year coaching. I had just, I was still in grad school at Grambling, actually, so I was going back and forth. So I'm familiar with that area. That area is rich in tradition, football-wise, and other things also. But let me back up. Something that you said you felt like you were not impacting people. That's a powerful word right there when we talk about impacting. So you had the feeling you were not impacting enough as far as individuals are concerned. So you chose to go into education.
Right.
Let's talk about that some, because when we talk about education in itself, the word impact to me is not used enough, because we do have impact on so many different people, not only young people, but also, adults also, So that was your driving force to get into education.
It really was. We were going to move, and talking about the move. And I said, well, this might be a good time. And I was ready. I was ready for a change. I really just didn't feel like I was having any kind of impact on people. And I had considered teaching at one point in my life, and just decided no, I was going to pursue my degree in polymer science and do it. And so I did. And then when the chance came, and the conditions were just right, I decided that it was time to make that change.
Right. So now you're in education. Early on, how did that transition go for you? How was that?
It really wasn't bad. It really wasn't. I was kind of shocked. I had a lot of good mentors, people in my life that, teachers that helped out a lot, principals that were very helpful. And I was able to, I moved around a good bit, as a coach's wife. I was in several different school systems and got to know a lot of different approaches to teaching. And I got to see a lot of the good in, other teachers and be able to model some of the things that I do after that. And plus I had some fabulous teachers along the way in my education. So I had Dr. Phyllis Hayes Lanier at Colin, and she was like one of my heroes. And then Dr. Shelby Timms over at Southern Miss. So I had a lot of really inspirational teachers along my way. And so I knew that if I got into that profession, I would really be able to change lives. And so that was my driving force.
I'm so glad you said that about having the right mentors along the way, because, it's the first 2 to 3 years of teaching in education, new teachers, is so important. It's impressionable. You can do so many things with being a student teacher. That's temporary, and you got your classwork and things like that, and all the testing and so on. But unless you have somebody who's willing to pour into you, and show you the way and guide you from a teaching level, from an administrative level, whatever level it is, you're not going to be successful if you don't have that person who's going to guide you. As difficult as it can be, you have to be able to reach back on those things that people, pour into you. And that's what it sounds like that you were able to do.
For sure. And in the program that I was in, certification, through the state of Louisiana, I didn't even have student teaching.
Really?
I went straight into the classroom.
Wow.
And I was very fortunate to have good teachers there at West Monroe that, were very helpful to me and kind of guided my path, as well as the principals. They were great too.
That's awesome. So let's talk about now. You talked about, moving around and things like that. You are a coach's wife, and so you all, that does happen in the life of a coach and things like that. As far as moving around, I too have been in 3 different spots: Bastrop, Brookhaven, Duncanville, and back to Brookhaven. That experience in itself, you really have to be built for that experience.
Oh, yes, you do.
You do have to be built for that experience. Kind of talk on that a little bit. How reflect on that experience in itself.
Well, you have to be really adaptable, that's for sure, and just willing to step out there and put yourself out there, wherever you go. Always putting your best foot forward and, trying to make new friends and things like that. Sometimes it's tough, and but I've adjusted, and our children learn to adjust. Especially our oldest daughter, we counted, I think she went to 8 different school systems.
Wow, you have a girl and a boy.
We do. And so she is definitely a really robust person, now because of that. She had to learn to, just make new friends and get new hobbies and, new things and new places all the time.
It's well said, because it's not about just you and Tucker. You have children involved, and they have to adapt also. But I tell people all the time, children adapt better than adults do.
I think you're right.
They really do. Just my opinion on that. So you all go different places and so on, but then you settle here in Brookhaven.
Yes.
Now you're back in Brookhaven. And that was 2002?
2002.
And I remember that because that was my first year back in 2002, being able to coach with your husband. Great opportunity. Had a wonderful time. We talk about those days all of the time.
Yes, we reflect on them all the time too.
It was some wonderful times, and I've had the opportunity to talk to several former coaches and former players about the staff that we had and the young men that we coached and the impact that was made.
Yes.
But behind the scenes, you see more of that. You know, there's people could actually understand. You know, the time that goes in.
Oh, for sure.
The time away from home, the days and things. It's a lot of time put into that. The whole process is not just the game. The game is one thing. The game's going to run, but then it's after the game to break it down to the film and to doing the laundry and things like that. And the next day, making sure those who are hurt receive treatment, and then Sunday coming in and getting ready for the next game.
Oh,
It is
absolutely.
boom, 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 boom. You know, for the entire season. So,
Yeah, I mean, life revolves around football. It really does. You know, for those months, and then sometimes other months too. You know, in the summertime when you're not able to just get up and go, and you know, because of workouts and all those things that are going on.
I got that too. You know, everything is planned around. You know, we can't go here because we have workouts this day. You know, but we want to do this, but we can't do this. You know, well, we got to cut this short.
Right.
So you know about it.
That's right. And if we're ever going anywhere in the summer, it's 4th of July week because that's the only time we could get
That's
away.
the time off.
That's right.
That's right. You got to get it in before the coach's clinic and so on. So yeah, I understand. Okay, you don't have any hobbies. Okay.
Not really.
All right. Well, let's talk about your love of cooking. You love to cook.
I
and
do
things
love
like
to
that.
cook.
Let's talk about
Yes.
that. What favorite dish that you love to cook?
my
And then
goodness.
I'll ask you about something else after that.
Oh, let's see.
If it's multiple ones, feel free to put it out there.
Oh, probably. I like to do Italian a good bit.
Okay.
So spaghetti and meatballs, lasagna, chicken Alfredo.
Okay. All right.
Things like that.
Okay.
Then I like to bake a good bit too. So
Okay, now talk about the bacon. Well, yeah, talk about the bacon. What dish? I'm getting somewhere with this, so go ahead.
okay. Well, I'm kind of famous for a cake that I make.
Okay.
It's a white chocolate cake.
Oh, okay.
So it is delicious.
I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking about banana pudding. She's known for
Oh,
banana pudding
yes,
also.
yes. I've made many a
Yeah,
tub of banana
yes, you
pudding.
have, and it has disappeared, you know. I'm not a big banana pudding person, but I will eat hers. You know, I will do that. You know, so, but I didn't know about the white chocolate cake.
Oh, you hadn't had one of those yet?
I hadn't heard about
Okay.
that. I had to ask Tucker about that. Okay. So, what do you like to eat? Favorite meal you like to eat?
Oh, it has to be Italian also.
It's
Spaghetti
Italian
is,
also.
yeah, spaghetti is
Okay.
one of my favorite all-time meals.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Love it.
Do
But
you-
I've gotten my husband to where he's doing a lot of grilling.
Okay.
So I'm enjoying that too,
Okay.
getting out of the kitchen some.
Okay.
So.
Now, he's a big boudin fan. Are you a big boudin
Yes,
fan also?
we are Louisiana food fans. Yes, we are. Crawfish etouffee,
ma'am.
gumbo.
Yes, ma'am. He knows I have a love of boudin also. So when he goes that way, he brings me something back. And when I go that way, I bring him something.
And some
back.
cracklings
And
too.
oh my gosh, yeah. The bag, if the bag's not greasy, don't bring it to me. Don't bring it to me. Let's get back to you though.
Okay.
You are the recipient, and I had to write this down because I tried to memorize it. I've been trying to memorize it, but I did not want to miss not one piece of this. You are a recipient of the 2023 Science Awardee for Mississippi, the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching. That's a tremendous honor. That's a national honor from the White House.
Yes.
Great honor, you know. Let's talk about how you feel about that. Because that's cream of the crop right there.
Well, I am more than honored, definitely, and very humbled by the selection. It was a long process. You have to apply after you've been nominated.
Right.
So I was nominated by a parent as well as an employee in Brookhaven School District, Rachel Powell.
Wow. Yeah.
So she nominated me, and I received notice, and then looked over the application process, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this because it was, going to take a good bit of work to even apply.
Right.
But I had just finished national awards
Right.
that spring, and this was in August. And I said, well, I've already done a lot of that writing and reflecting, and so I decided I would just go ahead and do it.
Just roll right into it.
That's right, and so I did, and I'm so glad that I did.
Right. So we're talking about impact. So when you have a parent, you have coworkers that nominate you for things like that, that means you had an impact on them. And people see what you're doing, Because this program is second to none, This program in itself, from when it was first brought aboard and established, it's been known to be one of, if not the top programs in the district in itself. And it's all because of the way that you teach it. It's rigorous.
Well, I
Okay,
appreciate that.
right. It's rigorous in itself, but the students love it. You know, every student I talk to, they're like, well, yeah, it's rigorous. my son himself, bless his heart, you know, but enjoyed every minute of it, you know. And so that's the balance there. To be able to make it rigorous, as to when they leave here, we have so many students, and we'll talk about those students, who leave here and they're prepared for the next level. But then you make it to the point where it's actually interesting enough for them to love it. How do you find that balance right there?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the curriculum itself, you know, which I was involved in writing with the other polymer science teachers in the state. And we have a lot of great support through Southern Miss. Their School of Polymer Science and Engineering is extremely engaged with us in what we do. We meet twice a year with them, and we get updated on current research that's going on. They do anything they can to help us out. And but the curriculum has a lot to do with how fun it is, because there's so many different things to learn about. You know, I tell kids, if you're interested in what things are made of in the world around you and why they're made of what they are, then you would love polymer science, because that's what it's all about. I mean, it's called polymer science, but it's not just that. We also do all kinds of materials. We talk about composites and ceramics and glass and all kinds of building materials and things like that. So it's great preparation for many, many different careers.
Exactly.
So,
Absolutely.
but I mean, it's just, and the activities that we do, that's really what makes it fun. All the hands-on things that we do, the competitions that we have, it's just fun. It really is. You know, I'll be talking to people in the community and about what I do, or even family members about what I do, and they say, "Well, you look like you really have fun." And I said, "Well, we do. We have a lot of fun." I said, "But we learn a lot too." So, and it is rigorous. It is a tough curriculum. Because it's all about general chemistry, organic chemistry, polymer chemistry. You know, we have to understand the microscopic world to really be able to understand the macroscopic world. And so that's the connections that we try to make. You know, here's the why, this is the microscopic, and then here's what we see, and how we can use that microscopic world to our benefit.
It's the balance that I'm talking about, and you can see it when you step into the room. You can feel it. You can see it when you step into the room, because you can see the results. You see those things. You know what's going on, and that's one of the things I look at when I step into the classroom is, how do I feel? You know, when I go into the classroom, do I feel like there's learning going on? And I don't have to ask anyone. I can just walk in and look and feel, you know, that there's some great things going on in here. You know, I remember when I first came in here and the 3D printer was at work. I was just amazed at that. I probably stood there and I looked at that, you know, wow. You know, come back in a little while, it'll be complete, you know. So and that was years ago.
Yes.
You know, so, but you're mixing competition. So the proof was in the pudding. So you all just returned from competition, right?
We did.
Tell us how you did.
Okay, well, Southern Miss hosts our competition every year, and it's for all the schools that are participating in the Polymer Science Program in the state. We're down to 5. There are only 5 of us left that are doing polymer science. But we competed for 2 days and ended up doing great. We had 7 out of 9 places. So they scored 3 events while we were there, and had first, second, and third place in each, and we had 7 of those positions, so our kids did great.
Sounds great.
Yes.
Sounds great in itself. So there you go. You know, competition, we're knocking it out the park. So what we're doing here is special, and I want people to understand, you want to be a part of this, come see us. You know?
Oh, yes.
If you're not here, if you want to be a part of a top-notch program, this is where you need to come, you know, because we're doing great things in this. All right, that's my promo for us.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I need it.
Yeah,
I
that's
need
our
it.
promo. We want to fill it up. We want high quality, and we want to make sure that they understand they're going to get a lot out of this class. I can tell you that personally. You're going to get a lot out of this class if you just listen.
and work hard.
And work
You know, STEM is so very important to
Yes, it
our
is.
daily
Yes,
lives,
it
and
is.
it's such a growth area, and we are not going to be able to supply the people for the jobs in the growth in STEM
So true.
the way that we're headed.
So true.
And so there are things that have got to change. We have got to get kids interested. We've got to get kids willing to put in the time and the effort to succeed in fields that are this challenging.
Let's talk about that. Let's go back to touch on some of the young men and women who have come through this program who are now in other programs. We have some doctors on the horizon and things like that.
We do.
You know, you touch on that some?
Well, we have a chemical engineer. We started this program 10 years ago. This is my 10th year. And generally I teach freshmen and sophomores or sophomore junior. It's a 2-year program, so I'll have them for 2. So our first graduates were last year. And so we have a chemical engineer. We have now this is out of that one class, my first class. We have a doctor he's in his 3rd year medical school at UMMC. We have one that's in medical school at Harvard University.
Yes, it is.
We have one who is getting her physician's assistant, I believe, at William Carey. And I got to see one this week at Southern Miss, who I'd kind of lost track of, who is about to graduate in May with a degree in Polymer Science.
Wow. One class.
Yes.
That's that one class. Wow.
Yes, that's that one class.
Wow.
That was the first class.
Right.
And since then, I mean, we've got lots of folks that are in.
We have some in the pipeline.
Yeah, and we've got lots of folks that are in professional schools right now, you know, variety PT school, or getting their PhD, or, you know, whatever it is that they've decided to pursue. So
Wow.
it's exciting.
And again, that's just a small sample of what this program and other programs in the district can provide for our students. We're providing great opportunities for them when they, not only while they're here, but when they leave here. It's not only about sports and things like that and band, and it's a lot more of an opportunity for individuals to take part here at CT, at the Tech Center. We have clubs and things like that, opportunities to go to competitions and so on, to be able to be better than when they first got here. And you're seeing that example there. So I continue to just let everyone know, if you want to be a part of a top-notch program or top-notch programs, this is where you need to be, because wonderful work is being done here.
I agree. We have some good ones. We do.
We do.
And, you know, also we have some great teachers over at the high school that these kids progress from my program, and then they go into your higher level sciences and maths.
That's right.
And they're ready. And, you know, that's one of the statistics that you read about all the time about STEM, is that you have so few kids that graduate from high school now that are really ready for the rigor that
true.
STEM, you know, majors are going to give them when they hit college. Matter of fact, it's quoted 20% of the kids.
Really.
That's about it that are ready for that rigor.
Wow. But we're doing our part, making sure that they're prepared for that rigor. And I can't tell you enough how excited I am about this program and the future of this program. And I'm just so excited about having you here. I know you're knocking at the door, but we're not going to talk about that. You know, we want to make sure.
I'm not in any hurry.
Okay. Don't be in any hurry. No, ma'am. Don't be in any hurry. But I appreciate you being on with us on today. I've been waiting for this for a while, and it just came at the right time. So I'm very appreciative of we've been knowing each other for a while.
We have.
So, but this has been great. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. And that will wind up our latest episode of the Panther Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. And please remember that it's always a great day to be a Panther. Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in to the Panther Podcast. Subscribe, like, and share to be notified for future episodes. We'll talk to you soon.